Alright, number 1, they want you to divide using long division. Let's make sure that all the terms are in order and there's no gaps. And it looks like we're all set. We got 3, 2, 1, and then the constant, and there's no gaps there. So let's divide. Get x cubed plus 3x squared minus x plus 2. I'm going to divide that by x minus 1. So x times what gives you x cubed? That would be x squared. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. So let's change the signs and add down. This is going to give us 4x squared. Let's bring this down. X goes into 4x squared. 4x times x, 4x squared. 4x times negative 1 is negative 4x. Change the signs, add down. X times what is 3x? That would be 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Change the signs. So it looks like we have a remainder of 5. So this is your answer. Number 2, divide using synthetic. So let's write down our coefficients, making sure that there's no gaps and making sure it's in order. There's no gaps and it's all in order, so we're going to have 1, negative 7, negative 7, and 20. And because we're using synthetic and because it's written in x minus k form, we're going to change what we see here. Instead of positive 4, we're going to use negative 4. So drop the 1, multiply, add down, multiply, add down, multiply. Let's see, that'd be negative 28, so 148. And then we add down, so negative 128. So here's your remainder. There's your constant, there's your x squared. So your answer is going to be x squared minus 11x plus 37 with a remainder of negative 128. So we're using the remainder theorem. So let's write this down, the coefficients. So 1, negative 7, 15, and negative 9. Because we're using the remainder theorem in synthetic, we don't change the signs. We just put 3 in here. So drop the 1, multiply, add down, multiply, add down, multiply, add down. So our answer is going to be 0. Because your answer when you're using the remainder theorem in division, synthetic division, is the remainder. Alright, so again we're going to use synthetic division. This time it's x plus 5, so we're going to put minus 5 here. 1, 3, negative 13, negative 15. Drop the 1, multiply, add down, multiply, add down, multiply, add down. So your remainder is 0. That means that x plus 5 is a factor. So if we're going to be wanting to put this in factored form, it's going to be x plus 5 times, here's your constant, here's your x squared. X squared minus 2x minus 3. We get that from here. Then we can just factor that easily. So it'll be -3, +1. You can just use trial and error to factor this quadratic. And there's your answer. Divide using synthetic again. So everything is in order and everything is accounted for. So 1, 3, 7, 26, 15, and then -3. So add down, multiply, add down, multiply, add down, multiply, add down, multiply, add down. So your remainder, your constant, your x squared, and your x cubed. So your answer is going to be x cubed. You don't have to put this because it's 0, plus 7x plus 5. Number 6, divide. We cannot use synthetic because you have a 3 in front of the x. So we're going to have to use long division. So we have 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. So 3x times what is 3x to the 4th? That would be x cubed. So we multiply this times this, 3x to the 4th. X cubed times -2 is -2x cubed. Change the signs, add down. Bring the 2x squared down. 3x times what is -3x cubed? That would be a -x squared. We multiply. This times this is a positive 2x squared. We change the signs. These cancel, these cancel. So everything cancels. So let's just bring these last two things down. 3x times what is 3x? That would be 1. Then you multiply. You get 3x minus 2. Change the signs. Add down, you get 0. So this is your answer. Alright, number 7. Find the real solutions by factoring. So factoring, we want to get everything on one side. So let's do that first. Next, we want to factor out the greatest common factor. So 5x cubed. So we're going to have x squared minus 25. X squared minus 25 is a difference of squares. So x plus minus 5. So they want the real solutions. This gives you a 0. And it's a triple root because it's cubed. This gives you -5. This gives you +5. Use the quadratic formula. So the opposite of b, plus or minus, square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Let's simplify this. -7. 7 squared is 49. 4 times 11 is 44. So this gives you a 5. That's it. Simplify. 2 plus I times 2 minus I. So we have conjugates here, so we don't have to do all of the FOIL. We can just do the F and the L. 2 times 2 is 4. Positive I times negative I is -I squared. Because I squared is a -1, it's going to be negative or minus a -1. So we're left with 4 plus 1 is 5. Number 10, when you divide a polynomial by a binomial and there is no remainder, so remainder is 0, what does that tell you about the quotient, which is the answer? Well, the fact that there's a remainder of 0 means that the divisor, and in this case it's going to be the binomial, and the quotient are both factors. This is a factor, and so is that. If you consider something like 30 divided by 2 is 15 with a remainder of 0. This tells you that 2 and 15 are both factors of 30. So that's all you would have to say. The quotient, well, you would write it on a complete sentence. If you divide a polynomial by a binomial and there is no remainder, you can conclude that the quotient is a factor of the polynomial. And that's all you'd have to say.